Absolutely. Let's just dive right in. Did Nico Harrison did he just pull off a trade so bad, so catastrophic, that people will be talking about it for decades?
It's looking pretty stark right now, isn't it?
Yeah. Was sending Luka Doncic to the Lakers the ultimate blunder? Yeah. Like, basically gifting LeBron another ring in his final years.
Well, the immediate impact is hard to ignore.
Since Luka put on that Lakers jersey, he's been, well, a monster, averaging 27 points, 8 rebounds, nearly 8 assists.
And that's just the overall average.
Right. And here's the thing, even when LeBron was out, the Lakers didn't just tread water. They looked like real contenders.
With Luka running the show, absolutely.
And his last 10 games, get this.
Yeah.
31.1 points, almost 9 boards, 7.5 assists. Oh, and shooting nearly 43% from 3.
Just, video game numbers, really.
So was this the move that completely sank the Mavericks? That's what we're getting into today.
Yeah, we need to break down why it happened, what Luka's doing to the Lakers offense, and the mess left behind in Dallas.
Exactly. The sources we've looked at, they really paint a picture of two teams going in completely opposite directions right now.
Mm-hmm. And you really got to look back at Dallas before the trade to grasp the context.
Okay, where were they at?
Well, remember back in late January, their coach at the time, J.J. Redick, he was pretty blunt about their offensive problems.
Oh, yeah, I remember that quote.
He basically said, we don't have a guy on our team that's going to necessarily always draw two to the ball. We don't have a guy on our team that's going to be able to get past his guy one-on-one and get to the paint and spread it out. You know, he just laid it out there.
So they couldn't consistently create those easy looks, those advantages.
Exactly. They lacked that engine, that gravity.
Which is interesting because you could argue the Lakers, even with LeBron and AD, had their own, maybe a different kind of issue. Some called it a geometry problem.
Right, like they had stars, sure, but maybe not always generating that consistent, coordinated defensive breakdown that opens things up for everyone else. Not like the truly, elite offensive systems do.
Yeah, not that constant pressure.
Exactly. And that's where Luka Doncic just changes everything for LA.
How so, specifically?
He's not just good in the pick and roll, he's a master. Top tier in the league. Defenses have to send two guys at him. It's almost automatic.
And that creates
opportunities everywhere. He can hit the roller, diving to the rim, find cutters on the weak side, kick it out to shooters, or just swing it to a safety valve. He sees all the angles.
And he seems to actually like getting doubled. He had that quote, right?
Yeah. He said something like, I accept that and I like playing that. It saves my energy and we just get to play 4-on-3. I think guys are doing great out of that.
Saves his energy. So he sees it as an advantage, not a problem.
Totally. It's like, okay, you want to double me? Fine. Now my teammates get easier shots.
We saw that play out when LeBron was hurt too, didn't we?
Oh, absolutely. The defense keyed in on him even more, but his numbers stayed elite. He controlled the pace, got to the line, just dictated everything.
Still putting up huge stats.
Yeah, it just shows his command of the offense, even when he's the sole focus. It's incredible.
And this has fueled a massive shift in how the Lakers play, offensively. We were talking about three-pointers.
Oh, yeah. A huge shift.
Our sources show before February 10th, they were taking about 34 threes per 100 possessions, kind of middle of the pack, maybe lower. Since Luka arrived, that number jumps to 42.3 attempts per 100. That's second highest in the entire NBA.
It's a night and day difference, a 6% increase, putting them way up there, like 94th percentile.
So why? What's Luka doing to cause that big a jump in attempts?
Well, a big part is just the quality of looks he creates and his range. I mean, he shoots from deep, 30 feet, sometimes further.
Right, the logo Luka shots.
Exactly. So defenses have to pick him up way out there. That stretches the floor, opens driving lanes, passing lanes. It's a nightmare for defenses.
Pick your poison, basically.
Pretty much. Give him space for the step-back three, or send help and he finds the open guy for an even easier look.
Austin Reeves talked about this, didn't he? About the blitzing.
Yeah, he said something like 90% of the time people are blitzing him, and he makes the right play out of the blitz. He doesn't force it, so you're playing 4-on-3.
So the defense sends two guys hard at Luka off the screen.
Right, that's the blitz.
And Luka just calmly finds the now open teammate playing 4-on-3.
Exactly. His decision-making under pressure is just elite.
And speaking of elite decision-making, that connection with LeBron, it looked instant.
It really did. You've got two guys with genius-level basketball IQs.
Yep.
Big, skilled players who can handle, pass, score. They just fit.
LeBron had that great analogy, quarterback and wide receiver.
Yeah. He said, I'm a natural-born wide receiver, and he's a natural-born quarterback, so it fits perfectly. It's just all about eye contact. It clicked immediately.
And the record showed it, right? 6-1 in their first 7 games together.
Yeah, the early returns were extremely promising.
So what stood out to you most about how they meshed so quickly?
For me, it was also how they adapted when LeBron did get hurt. They didn't just try to survive. They actually used that time to build more chemistry around Luka.
Like with who?
Specifically, that two-man game with Jackson Hayes. It's been surprisingly effective.
Hayes. Really?
Yeah. He's become this really important lob threat, rolling hard in those pick and rolls, especially the high ones, and also in what they call double drag actions.
Explain double drag quickly.
So it's basically two guys setting staggered screens for the ball handler, Luka in this case, gives him multiple options to attack, and Hayes has been great finishing those plays.
Okay, that makes sense. Luka always thrived with lob threats in Dallas Lively Gafford.
Exactly. And the Lakers were apparently interested in Mark Williams before, another athletic finisher, so Hayes is fitting that mold perfectly with Luka.
And the stats back it up.
Oh yeah. Since Hayes became a starter around late January, believe it or not, he's led the entire league in field goal percentage.
Wow. That's the Luka effect right there.
Absolutely. He just generates such easy looks for guys like Hayes.
And it's not just Hayes. Austin Reeves seems to have found another gear too, right?
Definitely. Especially with LeBron out, Reeves became that crucial safety valve. Luka draws the defense, kicks it out, and Reeves has been knocking down those catch-and-shoot threes, shooting like 37% on them.
So, okay, the Lakers are flying high, finding new ways to win, building around Luka. Let's pivot. What about Dallas?
Oof.
Yeah.
The other side of the coin. And it's gotten ugly over there.
Ugly how?
You're hearing reports of fire Nico chants in their own arena. The fan base is not happy.
And it's more than just the trade itself, right? It feels like everything has gone wrong since then.
It really does. Our sources mention it feels almost like a voodoo curse or something. The injuries have been insane.
How bad?
Like, historically bad. Some games, they apparently had more guys injured in street clothes than players available. They were supposedly close to having to technically forfeit a game.
That's unbelievable. For a team that was just in the finals, they were supposed to be adding pieces, not this.
Precisely. The expectation was reinforcement, building on success. Instead, well, they traded their generational cornerstone.
And didn't they make another trade around then that also blew up in their face?
They did, kind of overshadowed by the Luka deal, but they sent Quentin Grimes and a future second-round pick to Philly for Caleb Martin.
And how's Martin worked out for Dallas?
He's barely played. I think sources said only 5 games due to injury. Just hasn't been available.
Okay, and Quentin Grimes in Philly
is absolutely tearing it up, averaging something like 28 points, almost 5 rebounds, over 5 assists, shooting lights out, nearly 50% from the field, almost 40% from 3.
Wow. So the guy they traded away is starring,
right,
and the guy they got is injured.
Yeah. And Max Christie, who they got in the Luka deal, he showed some flashes early on for Dallas, but that seems to have faded quite a bit, too.
So it's just bad. It's bad all around.
It really is. The contrast is just brutal.
And the fans. You mentioned the chants.
It's gone beyond chants. People were literally holding a mock funeral for the franchise after the trade. Protests inside the arena, outside. It's intense.
So even if Kyrie plays well, or Lively, or PJ Washington, it doesn't matter.
It seems like nothing can distract from the core issue, losing Luka. It just hangs over everything.
So it really feels like it boils down to this. The Mavericks gave up on Luka, maybe blinked first, but he didn't give up on being great.
And now he's proving it in LA, night after night.
Nico Harrison made his choice, and Luka, one bucket at a time, is making him look, well, potentially foolish.
It's hard to argue otherwise right now.
So, thinking about how well Luka's playing, how well the Lakers look, and how much the Mavs are struggling, here's a question for everyone listening. Is this going down as the worst trade in NBA history? We want to know what you think. Drop it in the comments.
Yeah, definitely let us know. So just to wrap up what we've covered, we've seen Luka's huge impact on the Lakers offense, that seemingly perfect fit with LeBron, how they've adapted without him.
And on the flip side, the Mavericks are dealing with injuries, underperformance, fan backlash, just a cascade of negative stuff since the trade.
A really tough situation over there.
Which leads us to that final thought to chew on. Is the ghost of Luka Doncic going to haunt the Dallas Mavericks for the next decade? Is this going to be that constant reminder of the superstar they let walk away?
A potentially franchise-altering decision, no doubt.
Let us know your predictions in the comments. How long does this shadow last for Dallas? And hey, if you enjoyed this deep dive, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. We'll be back with more basketball analysis soon.